2025, the Astros barely missed the postseason and they literally lost on tiebreakers. Let's take a look at the Astros' last 5 seasons because it's obviously very impressive. You know, they were obviously in the World Series in 2021 and 2022 and ended up winning in 2022. Probably one of the most dominant runs we've seen in recent history, to be all the way honest. And then 2023 and 2024, they were in the postseason, but they didn't really do anything. And then in 2025, they end up missing the postseason to the Tigers on tiebreakers. So pretty unfortunate for them, but that's the season they had. So pretty unfortunate for the Astros, and they're going to have to bounce back in 2026. And the team really hasn't done anything to get better. The Astros have only made 2 signings this offseason, and honestly, I'm not really sure if they're going to be extremely good. It does seem like a very similar season they're going to have in 2026. But let's take a look at their contract situation, because once again, they still have a lot of good players on this team. Obviously, Carlos Correa still has 3 more years and a team option in 2029. So that's going to be very exciting for him. Jose Altuve has 4 more seasons with this team. Yordan Alvarez and Josh Hader also have 3 more seasons with this team. Lance McCullers Jr. could be his last season with the Astros, as he is a free agent in 2027. And then Christian Javier and Christian Walker both have 2 more years with the Astros. And you can obviously see they're paying a decent amount of money for all these players. And then everyone else on this team is basically in arbitration. They only made 2 signings in the offseason, which was very interesting to say the least. And these guys weren't in MLB, which is also something to look at. They signed Ryan West to a 1-year, $2.6 million contract for 2026. And then they also signed Tatsuya Omai, I'm pretty sure is how you pronounce his name, for 3 seasons for $54 million. And we'll see how he's going to be. I'm pretty sure he's going to be a pretty good pitcher. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about him coming over, so I'm pretty excited to see how he is. But that's basically all the upgrades they made, so they haven't done a whole lot. Baseball Reference has his team projected at $226.8 million. Obviously, with his $54 million contract in there, it's obviously going to be a lot more. It's going to be right around what they spent in 2025, which was $253 million. So it's definitely going to be very similar to that, 100%. And that made the Astros 7th in payroll in 2025. So they're definitely going to be a top team for sure. Like I said, their contracts is very similar to what they had last year. Let's go over their roster situation. Since all the teams are back at camp now, the depth chart is going to look very interesting for a lot of these teams. Let's take a look at this rotation. Obviously, the main pitchers are going to be Hunter Brown, Lance McCullers Jr., Owasa, Christian Javier, and probably Ryan West. Those are probably the 5 guys you could probably say are going to be in this rotation come opening day. Obviously, this whole depth chart is going to look extremely big just with all the different players that they have in spring training right now. Hunter Brown was definitely one of the best young pitchers that we've seen, and he definitely had a strong candidate for the Cy Young voting. But we'll see how he is in 2026. Obviously, very exciting squad moving forward. And obviously, taking a look at this bullpen, once again, they still have Josh Hader in this bullpen. We'll see if he has a bounce back season. He hasn't really been playing the best with this Astros team, to be honest. But obviously, still have Brian Abreu here, which is going to be massive. He's going to be a phenomenal pitcher for them. Unfortunately, Ryan Presley did retire from them, so that's obviously not ideal because he was definitely one of their stronger pitchers. But we'll see what happens with this bullpen moving forward. I expect them to be pretty solid. Now let's move over to the starting 9 for the Astros. Coming in at catcher, it's going to be Yonder Diaz. First base is going to be Christian Walker. Second base is going to be Altuve. Third base is going to be Carlos Correa. And then shortstop is going to be Jeremy Pena. Honestly, a very solid infield. I'm not going to lie. I think this is one of the more consistent infields that we've seen in the MLB. And then taking a look at the outfield, there's obviously a lot of players you could put in this outfield. Because in left field, you could put Altuve. Obviously, if Isaac Padres is back to play second base, that could definitely be an option that they go for. Or you could put Sanchez out here, which is probably what they're going to do. We'll kind of wait and see. Jake Myers is going to play center field, and then Cam Smith should be in right field. And then obviously DHing for this team is going to be Yordan Alvarez. I don't think he's played the field in quite some time, to be honest. So that's kind of the Astros roster and lineup that they have. Obviously, these teams use a million lineups at this point, so we'll kind of see what happens. Now let's move over to the top 100. The Astros actually have 0 players on the top 100, which is extremely weird. Most teams usually have players on the top 100, but they don't have any in the 2026 season. That's very concerning if you're an Astros fan. Obviously, you want them to get some depth, but they don't have anyone here. So let's move over to my prediction for this Houston Astros team. Obviously, I think they're going to have a very similar season to 2025, not almost like exact, because I haven't really made a lot of moves, and I feel like they've only gotten better with guys coming back from injury. And obviously, they did go out and sign a couple pitchers, but that's about it. It's going to be literally a very similar season to what they did in 2025. So we'll see how they do. I feel like they're going to be pretty solid. I think they should be a contender for this division 100%. If not the division, they should definitely be looking at the wild card, because most of the time the Astros do make the playoffs, it is through the division win. You know, they've only really gone through the wild card in 2015 and then obviously in 2020. We'll see what happens, but they definitely should be a strong candidate to win this division, and they should be a strong candidate to get back to the postseason, which should be very exciting. With that being said, what's your guys' thoughts on the Houston Astros? Definitely let me know down below in the comments if you agree or disagree with me. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Make sure you guys go check out the socials. Follow me on X for all of our updates. Follow me on Instagram for all of our clips. You can also join the Discord to talk MLB or MLB The Show. I love interacting with you guys over there. And definitely check out the merch. We just added reviews to the site, which is very exciting, so I definitely recommend go checking it out. Well, that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everyone.